there. All right, we good?
Yeah.
All right. Man, that was a hit.
It was.
We're gonna be in record producing soon.
T-Pain, watch out.
Yeah. That was a little John. Oh, we can do the auto-tune shit for T-Pain.
All right, let's go.
That's how he hit it.
And we're going to quit this podcast right here on the spot. We'll leave you with a 30-second episode here.
Yeah, and then we're gonna make billions.
Billions. So what do you think about everybody's favorite Russian spy being back on Twitter?
I don't give a fuck. We're not even getting into that.
We're not. I just think it's funny. Everybody's getting so bent out of shape about dumb shit.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna continue to. That's the way the world works today.
It does.
All right, man. So, wait. I think we're on a good roll here. All bullshit aside. I mean, just with progressing quality.
Yeah.
Content.
Everybody's learning with us, I should say.
Yeah, no doubt. They're like, well, they've really fucked that up. They didn't fuck that one up as much.
Yeah, it's on the up and down.
Yeah,
It's in the stock market.
So this is the one we've been putting off. I mean, not really putting off.
No, just conflicting schedules.
Yeah, we put it off because we wanted to be here.
Yeah.
Right. More intimate. Hold my
hands.
It's okay.
And we made eye contact.
I know.
So it's legit.
Oh, it is straight up. I might fucking the shit out of you right now. All right, so the taboo subject, men's mental health. Where do we start?
I don't know.
It's endless, man.
It is. And we both have come up with things over the last year or two or more. More or less, mine's more been in the last 2 years, I should say.
Mine's been my whole fucking life.
Well, we won't get into that. We won't have enough time.
No doubt. But so to kind of hit it off, why it's such a popular topic of today, I think is because men's mental health was always taboo in the past, due to or relevant to feelings. Mm-hmm. You were a man.
Yep.
Your job was to provide, to protect, and shut the fuck up and do work. I mean, essentially, right?
Yeah, we're in quote unquote programmed to put all our emotions aside and make do with whatever hand you've been given and push through it. And that's what if I want to use the word programmed, but per se, like you put your feelings on your shoulder, shrug that shit off, and get back at it.
Yeah.
And I've in the last about a year now, I've had some things come up, and I've been struggling with them, mentally, physically, more mental, for whatever reason. And I'll have a little storyline behind it. I won't try to bore you too much with it. We've discussed it briefly over the phone and in person. And it's something that's been troubling me. It has. Just starting back, give you a brief history over the last year. And I'm not pointing fingers or blaming one particular thing. It may be a conglomerate of everything going on in my life, which is a very, very good possibility. I've been analyzing it myself mentally, just trying to figure everything out. And it's, I have good days, I have bad days.
We all do,
like we all do.
Yeah.
And mine have been, I won't say I've had more bad days, but the bad days have been more overwhelming.
Yeah. Way heavier on you.
Yeah, they have been.
And that's one thing to point out as well. The negativity in our life seems to weigh way heavier on us than the positive things. So we can go through last week, 7 days in a week, and we can have 5 really shitty days. I'm sorry, take that back. 5 really great, fucking awesome, positive days. Everything just rolls, flows, normal, happy-go-lucky, at work, at home, family, and then that one day will be a complete shit show, the day number 6. And then day number 7, you're reflecting back on the whole week, and all you can think about is your shit show of a day.
Right.
And it could be reversed. It could have been the first day of the week, and you had 5 great days, and then when you reflect back on the week, the only thing you can think of is the shit show you had. So it weighs heavier on us than any good days. I mean, and it's sad, but it's the reality of it.
It is, because for instance, the good days. You're having a great day, whatever's going on in your life, you're having a great day, and you don't reflect on it. You're having a great day. You're in the moment, and you're going through life. Everything's happy-go-lucky.
Product placement.
And that bad day will, just like you said, weigh on you, and it sets on you, and it is, I won't say use the word debilitating too much, but it's almost to that point.
Yeah.
At least for me, it has been.
And it can definitely fuck up day 7, day 8, day 9. And all you are is mentally stuck on day 5 or whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be tough for me, but I'm gonna try to express what's been going on with me.
I'm here. You can hold my hand
on a deeper level.
I'm not that. I can't go that deep.
Well, I'll hold your hand.
I'm hung like a tuna can.
But no. So last September I got COVID, and for what it was worth, I got the worst of it out of everybody in my family, immediate family, wife, daughters. And I was down for about 3 weeks. No big deal. It was a really bad case of the flu.
Yeah.
I've gone through enough shit in my life to where the flu's not gonna knock me out.
Yeah.
Obviously, other people have not had that benefit. Some people have lost loved ones, and this is not me shit on anybody whatsoever.
No doubt.
This is just my story and what I've come across over the last 12 months, for instance.
Besides my face.
Yeah.
Gotta keep it light, man.
I know. But yes, I got COVID. Hung around for me about 3 weeks. Shortly after that, I got back to work, and I was having difficulty, 1, with my energy levels, and 2, my concentration levels. And that I've never had issues with. I've gotten sick. Of course, the 2 days after you're feeling better and back to work, you're still struggling, but you're getting through it.
Right.
By day 4 or 5, you're 100%. Since then, I noticed early January, February, I was having what I would call at first mental blocks. 1, I still wasn't back to my full potential. I run a small business. It requires me to do multiple things all day long.
Requires you 100% all day.
Yeah, 110% on some days. And I couldn't get out of this funk. I was in this rough headspace of my own, where I couldn't concentrate on certain subjects, business related, and that troubled me. And then from there, it spanned on into, well, at this point, I would say I was at my 60% level as far as energy on a day-to-day basis. People that do know me, you know me, I'm almost like 300% throttle from daylight to dark until I lay my head down. I'm always constantly staying busy. And I was getting winded at this point in time. I'm like, say 3 months after COVID, I was still at 60%. And I'm like, why isn't this getting anywhere? And I'm a stubborn man. I don't like to go to the doctor just because my toe hurts.
Right.
So
because that's what dudes do.
Yeah, that's exactly what
we don't go and treat ourselves.
No, we will tend to the family and family matters and what requires us to provide for the family first before we take care of ourselves.
We'll cry at home in our bed, so our spouses have to take care of us. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's the reality of it. That's what most dudes do, and that's why you always hear the joke like the women saying, "Oh, you're such a baby when you get sick." Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm only that way for you, babe.
Yeah,
I don't do that for the rest of the world. Right.
It.
To all them motherfuckers, I'm a king up here,
mm-hmm.
like Leonidas or some shit. Can't hold me down.
Yep. And after that, I started to have these mental. I don't even know what the word to use, honestly. I was thinking about it on the way here, and my mental capacity was hindered very much so.
So short-term memory, you're lacking.
Yeah, and still to this day is what's got me worried, I guess you could say. I hope it's not a permanent issue. I can't say the word right now.
Yeah.
But no, it rolled into the point where I was, I don't like to use the word depressed because for the longest time I didn't believe in depression.
But it is, I mean, to a point, essentially.
Right.
If you're downing shit too much, I mean, it's a form. Now, there's so many levels of that, right? When you say that word, and so many people think suicidal right off the rip.
Right.
And that's not the case at all. So it's a level, it's a form of depression, 100%. It's a hard pill for a dude to swallow.
It was, especially for me, because I'm a firm believer that wherever you're at, mentally and physically, it's a product of your environment.
Yep.
100%. Because if you're around a bunch of people that are bickering and just sorry for themselves and sorry for everybody else, they're going to bring you down with them. Like I said, it's a reflection of your environment.
Yep.
So it took me a while to come up with the balls, per se, to even bring it up to Misty.
Yeah.
I was almost to the point of tears. I was so upset with myself, the way I was thinking, or the way I was feeling. And by all means, I wasn't suicidal. It was just this mental capacity that I wasn't able to achieve, that I'm normally able to achieve, because creativity, as far as part of my job, it was not there. It was like a dark hole that was completely filled with nothing but blackness.
So basically, writer's block for a writer.
Per se.
I mean, you were just drawing a blank whenever you needed that creativity side.
Correct.
Just
And
stuck.
the energy, not being able to produce what I needed to produce for my job or my work, was just, adding 10, 20, 30% every day to me on top of what I was already feeling.
Right.
And then, like I said, I got the courage to talk to Misty about it, and I told her. And it was extremely hard for me to do, because I'm a general guy. I hold my feelings back.
Yeah.
I could be an asshole all day and be called every name on the sun. It doesn't fucking bother me, and it still doesn't. But for me to bring it up to my wife and explain to her my emotions, my internal emotions, I guess is the best way to put it, my thoughts. And I explained to her briefly, because it was hard for me to explain it to her, because once again, I didn't believe in depression up to this point.
Yeah.
And I'm coming more to grips with it, not the sense that I'm fully depressed by any means, but I have these spats, if you will, where they will hold on to me, in a sense, metaphorically, and it will hold me down to where I feel like I'm getting 5% accomplished what I need to get done for that day. Mm-hmm. And I explained to her, I said, I don't remember verbatim what I talked to her, but the part that really sunk in with me was the depression, if you want to use that word, was having me have these thoughts, or not necessarily thoughts, emotions towards my kids, in the sense that, and it's even more difficult to try to explain it again, because I very rarely feel like that, more or less nowadays, but I didn't have any affection for my family, and that's what kind of hurt me inside. It hurt my heart, like real deep. Right. And I mentioned
it's like an emptiness.
It was, and it was the point where I didn't want to spend time with my wife or my kids. Of course, every parent doesn't want to spend at some point in time be around their kids.
But you're a fucking brat today. I just want to leave.
Yeah, you get the fuck out of my face. But no, it was something serious where I didn't want to hang out with them. I didn't want to spend time with them. I didn't want to play with them. I got 2 little ones. I got a wife. They all treat me well, and I treat them well. And I didn't have any affection for them. And that's when I came to grips with that. And I was explaining to her, I was crying to her, and I was telling her, I said, I don't like the way this feels. And I said, it's really tearing me apart inside.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what to say. What could she say, right?
Right. Yeah, because you essentially are one to not really talk your feelings out until you've overanalyzed them 6,000 times in your own fucking head, and then you'll open up about something once you've come to terms with something on your own. And that's just the type of dude you are. I don't think I'm as bad. I don't get as deep in overanalyzing shit in my own head. But some of that's age too. So, in experiences. I think I definitely did it when I was younger, more than I do now. But
I would say I'm opposite, probably.
Right. But
I think, like you said, that comes with age. Over the years, I'm becoming more self-aware of, generally everything.
Yeah.
And like you said, I analyze everything. Like, for instance, I'll analyze this podcast when I leave here. I will.
Yeah.
I will go over what I said, not just listen to it somewhere down the line, but I will go over it almost word to word because I'll play it back in my head and I'm like, I didn't get that exact point that I wanted to get across.
Yeah, same here.
And I'm terrible about that.
But that's also a perfectionist coming out too.
Mm-hmm.
So you and me are a lot alike on production. You have to lay down at night and feel accomplished for that day. I'm the same way. If I don't lay down that night and feel I was accomplished for that day, I worked, provided for my family, came home, spent quality time with my family, maybe made love to my wife, whatever it entails, and then I lay down, I feel a sense of accomplishment. I feel good. I rest good. I wake up good.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have my checklist off, or like you said, today I only had 30%, or I left 30% on the table, that's weighing on me at night. Like, fuck, tomorrow now I got to do my 100% plus that 30%, and I'm overwhelmed. And then I wake up right off the rip, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just snowballs. It snowballs.
It does.
And we're both a lot alike in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. But spinning off that of me mentioning that to her, of course, she kind of wept with me because I told her I didn't understand it. That was my biggest problem. I didn't understand this shit. And I was like, I've never felt this way before. And I'm not saying it's because of COVID. It could be something associated with it, maybe. But I've never felt this way ever in my life until shortly after that. And I say shortly, probably 2 months after that. As I gradually got myself back into shape after COVID, respiratory wise and everything, because it did me in. I was up in the bed for 3 weeks straight. It took me another 3 weeks just to get back to work and actually feel like I was accomplishing things day to day.
And this is a non-smoker, and you still get winded, and you didn't used to on day-to-day stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, leading up to COVID, I was at the gym. We'll take it back just a little bit. My previous job, I ended up on my last day of work. I put my 2 weeks notice, went and got a physical, and well, not physical, but just a follow up for blood work, everything, the whole 9 yards. And she mentioned to me, she's like, "Did you about your kidney stones?" Because I had kidney stones a few years ago, which by far are probably the worst fucking pain I've ever felt. Yeah. I've been hit by 2 cars in my life, and they ain't got shit on kidney stones.
Yeah.
They told me that I had five more kidney stones. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, you have 2 on the left or 3 on the right, however it was. And I'm like, no one ever told me this.
Yeah.
It was like the doctors at the hospital and went to the ER not knowing what was going on, freaking out, thinking my gallbladder exploded or I'm about to die.
Right.
I was really worried for my life, and it was a shitty day for me.
Kidney stones.
Yeah, they're rough. And they told me that. And at that day and time, I told myself, I said, I'm changing my life habits.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't eat well. I was always on the road. I was eating
garbage. Drinking energy drinks like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Like I think most adults nowadays do.
Yeah.
I still, I veered off. But anyways, at that point in time, I told myself, I'm making a lifestyle change. Me and my wife used to go to the gym on a regular basis before we had kids. And I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to start eating right, eating healthy. I did. That next day, I changed my eating habits.
And you started gaining mass again.
Yeah.
We all seen it.
Yeah. And for a year and a half, all the way up to COVID, I was in the gym for at least 4 days a week, mainly 5 days.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was fairly healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not no marathon runner, but I was fairly healthy. I ate right. I treat my body right. And for me to catch the worst part of it, from, they said people that are obese, unhealthy, pre-existing conditions, older, I was like, you're more likely to have more complications. And me, I was catching all the complications compared to everybody in the house.
Right.
My daughters, they're fine. Wife, she was sick for about a week and a half. Me, no, I was 3 weeks in the bed. It was god awful. So that kind of gives you a roundabout of where I was at pre this. I was in the right headspace. I felt good. I was running a good business. We were successful. We were making money. We were, at this point, living in a camper. And we're building our house. Everything's good. My life's good. I had nothing to bitch about.
But that's exactly what it was. So you were at such a high point in your life to where everything's good. Everything's going right. COVID knocks your dick in the dirt for 3 weeks. And then after that, you're not 100%. And you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already 3 weeks down. And you're still having to try and climb up. So with all that control, with all that, everything you've put into, let's just say the last year and a half, exclude everything else. Last year and a half, you've been spot on health, fitness, eating right, clean, you know, your digestive system's good. We all know that. I mean, just not drinking and putting shit in your body, everything's right. And then that happens and you're still in a rut.
Mm-hmm.
You were still in a rut. So mentally, having everything stripped away from you and you have no control, absolutely, it knocked you down and kept you down. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is, and it still is to this day. I feel like it's gradually getting better.
Right.
Since then, obviously I made my wife aware of it. I've spoken to people like you, other friends also, about my issues I was having.
So, all right, go ahead.
And me explaining it to them, obviously they're not feeling the way I'm feeling.
Right.
I'm more or less venting to buddies.
Yeah.
That's what buddies do.
Yep.
I vent to them and explain to them what's going on. I said, I don't understand it. I said, I'm not a fan of going to see a doctor so they can prescribe me a special pill that's going to solve my problems. I don't believe in
I don't
the
either.
pharmaceutical
Right.
game that they play.
Right, I don't either.
And so since then, to help with this, I've decided to start taking CBD, a form of it.
Yep.
Everybody else can fill in the blank from there.
Yep.
And it's helped. It's helped. One, I sleep great. That's one upside to it. But besides that, leading up to that, I had 2 mild panic attacks, and I'm not sure if that's exactly what they were. But those things were physically debilitating to me.
Yeah.
And they popped up out of nowhere. And that's what kind of scared me too, was my heart was fluttering. I couldn't stand up. I could barely breathe. And obviously you could Google shit all day long and
Yeah.
every symptom
It's
falls
going to come
under
back
everything.
to all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
right,
and
right.
so you don't get no exact answers. And for me, it was more or less a panic attack, and I couldn't figure out why. I wasn't in a stressful environment at the time of them happening. Headspace wise, I was good. I was having a good day per se, and they just happened. And those things scared me too. And those physically debilitated me for a few hours.
Right.
And going through that, it's not me.
Yep.
And that's what bothers me the most.
There again, you're not in control.
Right.
And that's mentally decapitating, you know.
Absolutely.
So you said you're getting better. And
I feel like I'm getting better. I'm not having as many episodes.
Right.
Because when I say episodes, my depression comes in waves. And I hate using that word because I don't even know if that's what the fuck it is. And that's what kind of drives me nuts.
But we've talked, man. It is. Call it like you see it. Name it. Own it. You know what I'm saying? The more you try and sidestep it, I think is a problem with mental health today. Too many people see this and they say, I don't want to say that because as soon as I do, I'm categorized in the worst case scenario, suicidal, right? Or manic depression, or, you know, schizophrenia, you know, something of that nature. I hear voices.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be that, man. So if you're depressed, essentially, I think it's unhappy to a point of, or uncomfortable to a point of unhappiness. I don't know the definition. Hell, we can look up the definition. Grab your phone.
What are we looking at?
Depression. What's the definition of depression?
Okay.
So we try and, like this topic, I started looking up statistics. I started looking up all kinds of things, and you can go anywhere, and hell, you can Google this shit yourself. So I don't want to do that. I just want to speak from James' experience, my experience, and then kind of overall. So what's the definition of depression?
Depression, a group of conditions associated with the elevation or lowering of a person's mood, such as depression or bipolar disorder. It's very generic.
Okay.
Clinical depression, a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities causing significant impairment in daily life.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
I mean, so realistically, just that little bit, and a million things you can categorize into it. But like I said, I think there's so many levels. And if you're on level 1 or 2 out of 9,483 million, whatever the fuck, you're on level 1 or 2.
Right.
You don't have to be far gone off the charts to say,
No,
yeah,
and I don't think I am, or not.
no,
And
not
I
at
hope
all.
I'll never get that way.
Yeah,
but,
no.
But there's no telling what will happen.
But what I'm saying is what turned everything around for you to start getting better?
What turned around was, one is trying to lay off of over analyzing myself and my thoughts and the way I'm carrying myself day-to-day activities with, internal thoughts, physical performance at work and things like that, because that's something I look at on a daily basis. I self-manage myself as if I'm my own boss and my own employee.
Right.
So I have to run myself in a certain order on a day-to-day basis to make money for the family.
Right.
But what's helped me, more or less, CBD, honestly.
You think talking with Misty helped?
Yes. We haven't.
You haven't circled back to it?
No, we haven't circled back to it. She notices the days I'm having bad because she'll make comments to me, and I'll tell her, yes, I'm having a bad day. And I said, I just don't. I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want no one calling me. There's days where you've called me, friends, anybody calls me, even people that want to pay me for my services to make money. I don't want to talk to them. Like, I just shut down inside. I don't want to fuck with nobody. That's my biggest problem. I'm an outgoing guy. You're an outgoing guy.
Yeah.
We have very similarities in personality. We love people. We love talking to people.
We love dick.
Yes, we do.
You started to think really deep on that.
I had to think. I was like, how deep do I want to go with this one?
Yeah.
But no. So
just a little.
If we want to call, yeah, we call it depression. That's why I've been calling it to myself. But when I'm talking to people and expressing myself to family and friends, more or less friends, I'm explaining myself. And like I said, I was like, if someone hasn't gone through it, it's hard to explain it.
Well, and that was when you first said something to me about it. I told you, yeah, it is. It is. It might be a small or mild level of it, but it is. You just have to own it, man. Quit trying to overanalyze it. Just know what it is, know what's there, know what helps make it better. And when I say that, I mean go away. What subsides it, right? What keeps it at bay. And those are the things you have to focus on daily.
I thought I saw somebody walking.
It's a ghost.
Yeah.
I got Castor
From my
down
past.
here.
But as far as me getting better and trying to improve my train of thought, obviously I can't ignore it because it is there.
Right.
Because when what I was getting around to earlier was periodically throughout every month, I'll have either a bad day or a bad week.
Right.
And there's no rhyme or reason why it's happening. I've been trying to keep track of it, mentally, as far as what's happening in my life when I do have an episode. And when I say episode, I mean just a terribly bad day or days.
Right.
So I try to monitor it. I should have kept a physical log of it, if in case I ever do decide to man up and just go see a doctor if it does get worse and progresses.
Yeah.
Just give them some background versus me just talking to you and spitting stuff out.
Right.
But I've been trying to keep track of it, and I really don't see a rhythm to get me to that point where I feel terrible.
Right.
I'm not seeing a cause.
And that's where me and you are different, because I don't overanalyze to the point where I think I need to track it. Yeah, I don't.
And I think one of the reasons why I do overanalyze myself, one, I'm working solo for the most part of the day.
Yeah,
I keep myself entertained with a lot of podcasts in my ear. Yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of music, a lot of documentaries, just stuff to keep me entertained because I'm solo. I have no coworkers to talk to. Well, I can't chat it up.
And I'm kind of that way.
You are kind of that way. But when people walk into Walmart, you're usually saying hi at least every 20 seconds, right?
No, absolutely not. So, yeah, the whole Walmart door greeter thing is bullshit. But at my job, that shall remain nameless, Walmart, I am basically solo. Like, I have radio contact and I have a visitor every once in a while. But other than that, that's it. Essentially, I'm sitting in a box for 12 hours. Right.
So you're a Russian spy then?
Yes, I am.
Got it.
Absolutely. I was going to try and say something in German real quick, but
I don't think that'll work.
Yeah, sprechen Sie Deutsch. No.
Got it.
So your day to day is progressing. You're getting better More good days than bad.
Over the last probably 60 days, I'd say yes.
Absolutely. I would say so too. Outside looking in. And I don't know. I think from the first day I came out to help at the house to the last day was a drastic difference.
Really?
And I'm not saying me
No.
doing anything, but I think you venting. I think you talking about things, certain topics, and a lot of those, I don't even think I talked to your sister about because that's your business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's us.
So, and a lot of times when people talk or open up to me, I'm like a vault. And it's not that I do it consciously. I don't have to coherently go, okay, James is going to tell me this. I'm going to put this in the vault and it's locked away. I think you tell me that. I know it's your fucking business and I don't think about it. Like, I might give you feedback. I might not. I just might let you vent. And then that's it. Whenever we walk away from that, I don't even think about it twice. Like the whole ride home, I'll jam to music. And I think that's my escape. I think that's my biggest thing. Like you listen to podcasts, but you're always something with working your brain and thinking.
Mm.
I'll turn on music and just sing the lyrics or the song, and I don't fucking think.
Right.
And
you're drowning it out with something else.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That was music was a coping mechanism for me when I was younger.
Same here.
So I still use that daily. And I'm to the point, I'm, I guess, at a point now in my life to where if somebody does me wrong or I feel really fucking whatever about something, I don't hang up on things. I tend to move on relatively quick. I don't hold grudges. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's where me and you are very similar. I don't hold a lot of grudges, except a few and far between. And they're usually very personal grudges. But as far as the day-to-day activities, fucking, guy cuts me off. Obviously, I'm not overanalyze dumb shit. But I feel like I overanalyze things that are important to me, that I find important to me.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, me and you talked on the phone. We had an argument. I would go over that fucking argument 300 times before the day was over to find out what he said, how he meant it, and also do the same for myself.
And see,
and that in that sense,
you're damning yourself.
I am, and I feel like if this detour in my life mentally continues to go down the same road, I see myself going crazy at a very young age.
Well, and if I can give you any advice, get out of your own fucking head.
I know.
I mean, and if you've found a crossroad where, same example, me and you got into an argument, hung up the phone, you start to overanalyze. Second or third time, send a text or call back. Like, hey, motherfucker, what did you mean by this? Just to get that clarity. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to be able to answer it by yourself. You're not. Because that phone call was two people.
Right.
Me and you. So if I can say anything, in the heat of the moment, let it go. Obviously, to de-escalate. I'm a huge proponent in de-escalating anything heated. But don't wait too long. Especially you being in your own head. Come back to it and then confront. And whether that confrontation is me telling you, well, you said this, or you said that, or you did this, then that confrontation is showing you what initially started it all, even if it was self-reflection, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. The one thing that I've learned through the years is talking, man. It's a godsend.
It is.
And people don't realize it. And when they try and bottle everything up, it never works. Ever. I mean, that's why we have things like 22 a day, right? Mm-hmm. You got 22 soldiers a day committing suicide.
Right.
They name things and have slogans for shit like this, and it's sad, but it's a reality.
Right.
Because men are not allowed to talk about shit. Now, and this doesn't just go for men. This is, people all around the world.
Right.
So, the first thing I can think of to touch on this subject, I started my own sign business. Did that for a couple years. Worked for a sign business for quite, I don't know, about 5 years, something like that. Started my own for a year or two. Then the economy hit, 2008. January 2009, I closed the doors on it. And for a couple years, man, I worked 20 fucking hours a day. I had a newborn at home. I had, my wife at home with 3 kids. And I was a sole provider. She was a stay-at-home mom. And me working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, not seeing them, maybe 1 or 2 days a month, I would set aside like an 8-hour block for them, because I'm building this empire to support my family, and my sons will take it over one day, and all this grand scheme in my head. And I had to shut it down. We personally went bankrupt that previous summer, trying to save the business. Like, everything was fucking turned upside down, man. And when that happened, my office inside our apartment, man, I don't talk about this much, but the office inside the apartment, I locked myself in there, man, for 3 months. And Charlene was bringing me breakfast, lunch, and dinner in there. Like, I didn't come out and see her, the kids. I wasn't making any money. The bank account was depleting. Like, everything my job is supposed to do, I was not doing. And it was hard on us, more on your sister, because I couldn't get out of my own head. And I know I was playing some fucking game on MySpace with a bunch of fucking losers. No, I shouldn't say that.
Farmville.
No, I don't know what it was, but to escape reality. So I would wake up, get on the fucking game, play with these strangers, and not do my real life.
Right, you're checking out.
Yeah, I was just checking out. It was my escape. And I did that for about 3 months. And your sister wrote a note. It was like a 3 or 5 page letter to me. I don't know, it was long. She stuck it on the door. And she made sure her and the kids were gone when I woke up. And I walked out there and saw it on the door, and I took it, went and sat down at the desk, and I opened that note up and I read it. Dude, it just, I fell apart. She was telling me how much she loved me, and the kids love me, and they miss me. I'm in the same fucking apartment as them, right? Like, and she's got to take the kids and leave. It's the healthiest thing for our family. And I'm thinking, me, someone who works so hard to provide, someone who's, I bear all the weight for my family. I'm supposed to lead my family. I was building this empire for my family. And now my wife's telling me she has to leave me for the better of our family and take the kids. It was rough, bro. I crashed hard. And so after that, it was like, I don't know, it just snapped. She came home and I cried, she cried. And I told her, I'm sorry. And she said, don't be. And I don't think we really talked much, but we didn't need to. Everything she said was in the letter, and everything I needed to hear, like, hey, get off your fucking ass and go support your family and be there with your family, for your family. Because I'd already missed like 2 fucking years of not being with them, and I'm right there. Mm-hmm. Now I just spent 3 months of not being with them at all. And it was rough, man. It was rough. But yeah, that was my very first encounter with any kind of mental shit. And dude, to each their own. Everybody deals with shit differently, but that was a kickstart for me to, hey, this is not me. This is not how I pride myself to be. This is not how I'm going to be a father. This is not how I'm going to be a husband. This is, and I self-analyzed and said, fuck this, got up, started putting work in. Within a week, I had a job, and, you know, shortly after that, I'm fucking climbing out of this hole, you know, with my family on my back, and trying to repair everything with that. You know, my youngest son, we had such a disconnect for a long time, and we still do a little bit, because I wasn't there for the first couple of years of his life. I was there, but I wasn't there. And, man, it was rough. It was rough. But that was my very first, I guess, eye to eye with depression. And not a lot of people know this.
No, I don't.
Right.
It's the first I've heard of it.
It's hard, man. It's a hard thing to talk about, especially when, you know, like I said, I pride myself. I try and teach my kids. I try and be there for my kids. I try and, you know, be a good husband, be a good father. You know, I'm a shithead half the times, you know, I mean, just, it comes along with it, but that's a hard pill to swallow, especially knowing I failed everybody, including myself. And, yeah, so that was my first rodeo. Never been that bad since, but yeah, you
Good.
like you want to ask something.
No, I'm happy you're in a better place now, because I had no clue that, you know, I knew obviously, I think the whole country as a whole went through a rough patch over that.
It was bad.
And obviously your experience is a little more drastic than mine was, because I did have a small business at the time too, at the same time you had yours.
Yeah.
Mine failed, but I had something to fall back on. I didn't have any kids, I had a wife, that was
Yeah.
it. So I definitely would have done what you were doing.
I still had life insurance. I thought about that too. Like, are they better off with just that money? Because I ain't fucking doing nothing for them.
Right.
I thought about all kinds of fucked up shit, man.
I think men as a whole, at some point in time, if they catch yourself falling and failing in life, that they don't think they don't not have that come across their mind at some point.
I don't think it's just men. I think it's people in general.
And people in general, yes.
Especially
But-
nowadays, because everyone's more vocal about that bullshit, and it's an attention grabber.
It is.
To a certain extent. I'm not saying discredit some people that are really having issues, but there's so many Me Too's nowadays.
There
you
is.
know.
And me and John, one, are not doing this for attention.
Fuck no.
We are doing this, one,
I hope
for
I
us,
didn't catch like my eyes. Not the.
we're discussing this openly for one, the world to hear, for two, for us to hear.
Yeah.
Because one, we're friends, we're brother-in-laws, and we're boys.
Yeah.
And we have to, one, open up with each other. Because I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like I could open up to a man a lot easier than I can my wife. And I don't like the idea of saying that, because you're supposed to marry your best friend, correct?
Yeah.
And I believe I did that. My best life partner is who I married.
Yeah.
But there's some things I just cannot openly admit to her. For instance, me opening up to her about my issues
Yeah.
that I was having. I soaked on it, I would say, for over a month. I couldn't bring myself to tell her, because I didn't want her to see weakness in me.
And that's that taboo of dudes aren't supposed to have mental health issues. We're supposed to suck it the fuck up and go to work and provide, protect, and you know, if you go back to, you know, like what am I trying to say here? Like animalistic virtues or values or whatever. We are supposed to be the dominant, the king. We're supposed to run the you know,
We're cavemen.
yeah, but we're supposed to, the wolf pack, you know, we're supposed to guard the cave, protect the cave, you know, mama tends to the cubs and all that, and she gives that nurturing, whatever, yada yada. But what do we do whenever we're broken? You know, it takes that queen to step up and, you know, to man the,
Glue us back together.
yeah, exactly. So, and same thing with my wife. You know, we've had tons of conversations, and you know, I've recently had something. We'll get on that in a minute, but you know, and it took me a minute to talk it out, because it's hard. It's hard whenever you feel like you have no control. It's hard when you feel like you're powerless, when you don't have any fucking clue of which way to go. You come up to that fork in the road, and to to turn left looks like shit, to turn right looks like shit, and you don't see a light at the end of either tunnel. It's hard. And to go, I don't know what to do, and you've always been one to just fucking, I'm gonna do this, and if it's wrong, I'll fix it, and I'll keep going. It's hard when you get to a fork in the road, and you're like, I don't know what to fucking do, and you're powerless. I think that's a big thing, especially for dudes like us, to just feel clueless and helpless and fucking.
I want to say something to the listeners, viewers, whoever you are, men in general, women in general, anybody in general for that matter. If you're feeling anything sort of way this way, and I will agree with Sean 100%. When I opened up, because Misty was the first person I told. I didn't tell my buddies, not crapping on my wife, but I've always been more open to my friends.
Yeah.
And I think most guys are, and most women are also.
Well, it's easier to bounce it off a buddy who's gonna kind of ridicule you, give you a little bit of shit, make it lighthearted, maybe give you a little bit of suggestive, anything, and then it helps you like, all right, well maybe if I tell my wife like that, it doesn't sound as bad.
Right.
I mean, it's one of those things.
And that's one of those things where
But you were saying
I
when you
openly just
opened to
had,
her-
I had to open up to her, and
Yep.
I suggest everybody do that, because I will hold it. I still hold shit in to this day about a lot of things, but this is one of those things that was so overwhelming that I had to tell somebody.
Yeah.
And if who's not the best than my wife,
Yeah,
to
same,
actually fill me out
same thing with me, man.
and where I was at in my life.
And like I said, we didn't talk much, but we didn't need to. She talked all she needed to talk, and I knew everything I needed to do. And we kind of cried together, and I apologized and told her from this day forward it won't happen. And it hasn't. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have bad days just like everyone else. I'll get in little ruts here and there. And I mean, it's like 2 months ago you asked me, how's the house projects going? Really haven't done much. You asked me last week, hey, how's the house projects going? When you asked me 2 months
They're
ago,
still
yeah,
there.
they're about the same. Yeah, I've fallen into a rut. Now from February until 2 months ago, it's been balls deep, man, nonstop, knocking shit out, having a list in my head, getting up, having the energy, getting to it. Like 2 months, man, I've done nothing except eat like shit, gain all the weight I lost back, and I'll think when I wake up on a day off, like, I'm gonna get this done or that done. And nothing. And it's not like I've even been riding a whole lot or fucking around on TikTok. The last couple weeks I haven't been doing much of shit. I've been kind of just stagnant. I'm doing what I need to do day to day, and it's filling up a lot more in my day than it needs to, I think.
Just uselessness.
I mean, yes and no. Like,
You're not being productive.
I'm not being productive, but I'm not like sitting around on the couch eating potato
Right.
chips either. I'm just doing small piddly
You're
bullshit.
dabbling around. Just,
Yeah, dabbling is mainly the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Like, instead of working on some of the projects, I'm like, I can do this load of laundry, this load of dishes, and so I'm getting something done, but my projects are still sitting waiting. And yeah, so I mean, I still go through ruts, man. I mean, to this day, and I know it, and I see it, and I tell your sister, I'm like, yeah, on my next few days off, I've got to get this shit done, and I'll get it done. I'm like, fuck. The next few days off, I've got to get this shit done, I don't get it done. And then it's, that sense.
What do you think is actually stopping you?
Me.
I know, obviously you. But what do you think? Are you making, unconscious excuses not to get those things done? Do you think? Obviously, most guys don't want to jump on every project at one single time and knock everything out.
Yeah.
One, you work. You have a crazy schedule.
Yeah.
And it flip flops from time to time. And you got 4 kids. Well, you got 3 in the house, but
Yeah.
your day's consumed with a lot of time.
Yeah, and the days that I do fuck off, I feel like I am spending more time with them, just chatting, sitting around talking, or going to grab, a quick bite to eat or something. And so I'm not completely wasting my day. I'm getting some valuable time in there that's needed. And but I don't know. All it's gonna take is for that light switch to come on, and that's all it is every time. So I get in these ruts, and it's like I was telling you when we were talking about this lightly. I was like, dude, you gotta answer the phone. You gotta make yourself answer the phone. You gotta make yourself be there, even if you have to kind of, hey, all right, yeah, you have to. Obviously, if you're gonna be negative and spiteful to the family, you don't want to be around them if you're that bad off. But if you can just subside it and be there, it's gonna bring you into a better mood, wholeheartedly, instead of being alone. I can tell you that from experience.
Yeah, and I've done that over the last 11 months of the years. I've forced myself to, say, suck it up, pussy.
Yeah.
You got shit to do. You got
Suck
a family
this up.
inside. And get your ass inside and, do what you have to do. Be a man. Fucking turn that shit off.
Yeah.
And get back at it.
And I've done it. And that's where I need to get right now so I can get on these fucking projects. But
Yes.
first we got Thanksgiving.
And we do.
God.
Back over at your house again. We weren't here last year. And I thought because you guys had COVID, but it was
No.
actually you guys had a stomach bug floating around the house that week. Or the couple days prior to that. And we were like, we're not coming back around you because we just got off COVID at that point.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was
It was a
Cameron.
mess. Yeah, it was an absolute mess here.
Yeah, Cameron did.
Um,
He stayed upstairs.
Okay.
I think it was Cameron, my oldest. But yeah, he stayed upstairs.
But no, getting back to,
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, getting back to my thing, and this will be the last thing I say about me, unless I got something to add with you, is even to this day, my best day as far as mental capacity, and this is what's really bothered me more than anything, my best day that I'll have in a 30-day period is 80% of what I used to be. My absolute best day. And I feel super accomplished when that comes across.
Oh.
My energy's right behind it, of course. I think it's a reflection of itself.
Yep.
But on average, I'm on 60, 65, 70% of what I used to be. And that's what bothers me the most because, and I hate going back to it, but people that know me is fucking, I don't stop until I'm done with anything I'm doing. Day-to-day activities, family, whatever.
My ass.
Balls deep in his ass, like, until I'm done. And he knows I'm done. And that's what's hindering me right now, I believe.
So
Is me being I'm soaking on that so much.
So obviously, I would say quit thinking about that. Right, easier said than done.
Of course.
But here's the thing: if it's been almost a year now, and you're not at 100%, and your best day was 80%, and your average day is 60%, you need to set a goal for like 65. That's what you should do. Quit thinking about the 100% days, because that's in the past.
Right, and I don't. But the thing is, when I wake up, my throttle is set in one position until I'm cruise control the rest of the day until it decides to bump itself up. And that's what the oddest thing is. I try not to have these mental blocks.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've overanalyzed it. I'm trying to come up with solutions for me to handle inside. And I look past it. I try to look at positive things. I'll cancel a bunch of negative things out in my life. And I don't have a solution yet. That's what bothers me.
So so where are you setting your goals when you wake up?
My goals?
Yeah,
Well,
like a daily goal. Like when you get up, obviously you think, okay, today I got to do this, this, and this, and this. Where are you setting your goals? Are you still setting them at that 110%? I mean, realistically.
no, I'm not, because I know I don't have the energy to accomplish them.
I mean, but are you thinking that right off the bat?
No, it comes natural at this point, honestly.
Okay.
And that's the shitty part about it.
Yeah.
I do it unconsciously.
So just subconsciously, it's like, okay, I think I can do this, this, and this, and that's probably it for today.
And then if I get sidetracked for whatever reason,
Then you're behind.
hit the bottom.
Yeah. And that's where it's hard for, like I said, someone like you or me, because I have to feel accomplished when I lay down and go to sleep. If not, I'm restless. And I wake up and I'm like, right off the rip.
Got 400 things to get done today.
Yeah. And then, you know, when you put 2 months behind that, you know, 11 months, whatever. This run I'm in, like I said, it's been about 2 months. It's hard, man. And yeah, where do you go from here? That's tough.
It is.
It's hard to say. The only thing I can say is, one, keep talking. You have to keep talking things out. And if your new norm is a new norm, then you have to accept it. So, do you think the CBD has anything to do with it?
Possibly. As far as pros and cons,
As far as the cons of recollection or your memory?
no. I don't see it as being that way. And I've thought about weaning myself off. I say weaning myself off like I'm a damn junkie or something. No, I thought about just,
gummy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I need a fix.
just getting off and seeing where I go mentally.
Yeah.
Because one, I noticed myself went to a soccer
Really fucking loud. I was like, snorting a line over
doing
here.
a little bump off his fingernail.
Yeah, it's definitely not CBD over here. I got the real deal.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
But no, this past weekend I went 2 days without anything, and I caught myself the second night restless, laying in bed. Tons of thoughts going through my head. One about how we're getting our asses kicked. Oh, I'm sorry, the first night. Second night. Sorry, that we're getting our asses kicked at this tournament, and it's bothering me. I'm like, what do I need to do to improve Abigail and the team as a whole? And after that, I was like, okay, what do I need to get done at the house? And I was sitting there restless. And this is what I used to be. I used to have what's called a sleeping disorder.
Yeah.
When I was a manager of a telecom company, I was in charge of a few guys. Nothing crazy, but the owner of the company was very let's call him lazy, and I was doing his bidding as far as being worried about the company's
And he was
upstanding.
He was sitting back chilling.
He was sitting back chilling.
He's like, James got
And
this
I
shit.
was stressed out to the gills. Missy can tell you, I started taking sleeping medications, over the counter stuff, and I couldn't sleep. I'd stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning just thinking about what I need to get done the next day and what has to happen, because I knew nobody else was.
Yeah.
And
fucked up.
from there, it started that I had having sleep issues. I noticed whenever I wasn't able to get my vitamins in, that I wasn't able to do any of that.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
But yeah, so from that, I would say it's helping me, but I am going to try to take a step back and see where it goes, because I try to eat healthy. I took a lifestyle change after I found out about the kidney stones, and I believe in you are what you eat, and I want to eat healthy. And you said you're cooking pancakes and bacon tomorrow, and I don't want no damn bacon, even though it's delicious.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
You're un-American. Fuck you. No bacon?
Kamikaze.
Oh my gosh.
But no,
Where's that one?
where's the shitty one at? Eat my bacon.
So I'm gonna slap you with my bacon.
Mm-hmm. You hog.
So if I can give any advice to anybody, obviously it's to continue to talk, but two, man, do not dwell on it. And if you do, and you find yourself just stuck, you have to talk to somebody. You have to, whether it's your significant other, or it's a friend, or a family member, or call a fucking therapist hotline or something. I mean, I don't want to be too cliche, but I mean, at the same sense, I mean,
Someone's out there that's willing to listen.
absolutely, and someone's out there that actually gives a fuck. And too many dudes think, I'm a man, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. Nobody gives a fuck about what I think. For a long time, that was the case. Or for a long time, every man thought that, so no one talked. Nowadays, it's a huge topic. People are talking about it all across the fucking world. And, some people still say, oh, you're a fucking pussy, you're supposed to suck it up and fucking keep pushing. And I have to tell myself that to get myself out of a rut. Now that I just publicly put myself on blast for the last 2 months of being a lazy fuck,
It is what it is. What were you doing up to that point, though?
What do you mean?
You were doing 400 projects around the house up to that point.
I mean, yeah, but
were you taking a physical break for yourself?
Nah, I did riding the bike.
Yeah.
I started jumping on the bike.
You got a new toy.
Yeah.
So you want to enjoy it.
So I started riding the bike, and you know, I got to the point of
being selfish with your time.
Kinda, yeah, and I think that's what started my shutting my shit down.
Right.
I think because I started beating myself up for taking up too much time with riding my bike, and
but at the same time, me and you discussed this, like, obviously what's happened in this house over the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was. You had your oldest move back in.
Oh man, that was
and
rough.
it was an extremely stressful time for
Yeah.
everybody. Obviously, you vented to me. I've heard it from wife. You heard Cameron's side of things, and I get it. It's a very stressful time.
Cameron's the oldest son he's referring to.
He moved back in the house with a wife.
Oh man, you're just gonna put my family on blast? Like
No,
this?
I'm just saying. What
No,
led
you
up to
could-
this is that you had the last. How long was he here? How many months?
He was here 1 year and like 2 weeks.
Okay, so for a whole year,
Yeah.
there was a lot of tension in this house.
Bad, man.
Very
It
much
was-
tension.
It was awful.
And financially, it put a burden on you.
So just to fill everyone in, my son moved out, joined the military. During that time, got married to a high school sweetheart. Things came up, got out of the military. She was pregnant, so he's expecting to be a dad. She's expecting to be a mom, and they're in Utah, and they've got no way to get home, and they want to come back home. So from that point on, the burden started, I guess, in debt. Drove to fucking Utah and back in 5 days, which was a fucking nightmare. And then they lived here for 1 year, and you had two people that started their own life far away from home for, you know, a year and a half, 2 years, however long it was. He was gone for about 3 years total. And then they come into your house, and now you got two families, but essentially living in the same house. And he didn't want to conform to my rules that he knew when he left, because he'd been doing his own thing for, you know, however many years now. And we butted heads a lot, and it was rough. And then, like you said, a lot of negligence cost me a lot financially. And yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna lead up to is there was a lot of tension from that point.
Yeah.
And that tension lasted pretty much the entire time, correct? Would you
Yeah,
say?
I mean,
maybe a good week here and there, but for the most part, the
A
grand
good-
scheme of things, we'll just say a year.
A good day here.
There's a
or
lot
there.
of tension.
I
There's a lot of
wouldn't
tension in
say
the
a week.
house.
Yeah.
So
It affected me at work. I was to the point where I got put on probation. I was about to lose my fucking job. And he didn't know that. I didn't tell him that until, I don't know, a couple months ago. I said something to him. He's like, holy shit, really? I said, yeah. Fuck. I was like, yeah.
he doesn't understand the aspect of that,
Nah, he's young.
and he'll learn to
Yeah.
understand that portion of it
Oh,
at some
he's-
point in time.
He's learning every day. He's got a big boy job working at Walmart with daddy.
Yeah, buddy. He's in
So-
the toy section.
So
by the
anyways,
way.
you were going, that year was
Yeah,
rough.
so it was rough for you.
So,
So, and right after that, obviously, you guys had a bunch of projects you wanted to get done around the house.
yeah,
You had a large project going on while they were living here.
Yeah.
By completing the
upstairs,
upstairs,
the upper level.
the upper level of his mansion.
No, shut up. I was gonna say,
He
that
was-
sounds
he was-
so
he
bad
was on
saying
the-
upper level.
He was on the upper west wing of
Fuck you.
the plantation.
God dang. Now I'm a slave owner? God, now I'm racist.
No, why does it have to be? Why is plantations racist?
I mean,
you just go straight there. You
that's-
sound like CNN all the way.
We gotta
Um,
spread that misinformation.
So, but you were under a lot of tension, and when you bought the bike, it was a present for yourself.
Yeah.
One, you've ridden in the past.
Yeah.
You've made a big boy decision, not got a crotch rocket, got you a Harley. And
Big boy decision was way more expensive.
right,
God.
and so that's your relaxation. That's your internal therapy.
Yeah.
Is being on the bike. You enjoy it through and through, kind of like the way I used to enjoy off-roading.
Yeah.
Still do. Hopefully I'm going to get to go this Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's your therapy.
Yeah.
So that's when you check out. That's when you can mentally, turn off all the bullshit, and all you're worried about is open road.
Yeah.
I know it sounds cliche as fuck, like a Harley commercial.
But it's fucking true.
It's
though.
true, yes.
I mean, really,
And that's the way I am when I'm out in the woods in a buggy.
Open trail.
Just being in nature for one, and just having a great time with friends, and not thinking about anything that's back behind me.
Except for the axle, if it's going to break or not,
Yeah.
going up this hill.
Or a motor.
Yeah. But, yeah, so last year was rough, man. And so this year started off with just hand over fist house projects doing the main level. And, yeah, and like, I guess I kind of got burnt out and then started weighing on myself about, not being here doing what I need to fucking finish. And it's kind of been in the rut. So that'll get me out. Then I had another low blow, like really low.
Oh, I can't get under this table.
Yeah, like below the belt. So your boy's 41 now, right?
Oh, I thought you were way older.
Fuck you. So I don't know. I guess it was about 4 months ago now. I said something to you, about 2 months ago? Isn't that when we went to Joe Rogan? Yeah.
October. Oh, end of September. Yeah.
Yeah, end of September, beginning of October. And, yeah, that was right when I had my doctor. I think I had my doctor appointment coming up. I don't think I've been to the doctor yet, have I? When I talked to you? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was like that next week. So I started having performance issues in the bed. And this is something I'm not going to the bedroom's sacred, but if I have an issue, I mean, I can talk about that, especially with this. But that was, every time you go to, be intimate with your wife and shit's not working like it used to, man, that's a hard pill to swallow. No shit. And it was rough. And obviously she knew about it. She knew
Obviously.
Unless
Unless she was asleep.
well, only half the time.
Yeah.
And by the
She
time
wakes up when I'm not done.
by the time she woke up, it was already nothing. So I just went back to sleep. But that was hard, man. Because 41's not that fucking old. Man, I'm reading shit online. I'm looking things up. I'm trying to figure out what.
Look at you analyzing your shit.
Oh yeah, bad, man, bad. Especially something like that. I mean, I'm a fucking dude. That's what makes me a dude, right? And,
well, it is 2022, dude.
Yeah, I know.
And Caitlyn Jenner is a dude.
Oh God, no, yeah, whatever. So yeah, that was hard, man. I tried all these different fucking exercises and all kinds of shit, like masturbating a lot, not masturbating at all for
Give the viewers exactly what you're working with.
Not a tuna can, So very short but girthy.
I want to say Copenhagen can.
Yeah, I'm a little thick. Anyways, so all right, but I mean, it wouldn't last. It wouldn't stay up. I mean, getting there was not an issue, but and that's where I started seriously thinking about watching porn again. But even with masturbating, it was doing the same thing, and it didn't matter what I thought about. I thought about the neighbor's goat. I mean, that used to do it for me, but now it don't. No, I just I was at a loss, man. So I made a doctor appointment, and I every time I still really hadn't talked to your sister about it, and I was just like, I guess I need to call a doctor. And she's like, if that's what you want to do. I mean, she knows my frustration, like she feels my pain. And
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She ain't feeling nothing.
I know, right? Yeah, no shit. But so I go to the doctor and I'm like, hey man, I don't like the idea of taking pills, but what the fuck else do I do? He said, well, the starting thing is I prescribe you some pills, little blue pills, and try that, Viagra. I'm like, all right. So try that, it works. I went to my checkup, my follow-up today, so it's been like 7 weeks. And how's it going? It's going good. He said, have you tried it out? Once. How did it work? It didn't. He said, all right, so that looks like you're fixed. And I was like, really? And he said, well, you can do, like Cialis, take a pill every day, not just beforehand. I don't like the idea of taking a pill every fucking day. So I said, no, we'll just stick where we're at for now. Got another appointment for 8 weeks out and see if anything changes. And obviously once or twice in between then, try without and see. Still an issue. But that's a low blow, man, for a dude.
Did you ask the doctor why?
He said it's 1 in 10 dudes. 1 in 10 dudes. So I'm fucking lucky, number one.
I just find it interesting that they come up with those statistics.
Right.
I guess obviously back in the day, men didn't talk about.
I guess they're probably looking at the
erectile
amount of
issues.
people that come to the doctor and the amount that don't. I guess that's what they're looking at.
General population.
Yeah, like census population of dudes
Mhm.
versus the amount of dudes that come and have this type of an issue. And it's a broad range, of where your issue is or your flaw is with ED or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
because women, I guess their version of obviously I think they do make a female version of it. I think that's just for
that's hormones.
hormones.
Like their hormones is so to the point where they don't even want to have sex.
No, I'm thinking about just performance wise that they can't get moist or wet.
Oh.
And is that the version? Is that their
really
version of it
spit on
though?
the table.
Besides the hormone side of it,
I
because
don't know.
guys are always ready to go, right?
No, I'm not.
No, I mean like
Not without my little blue pill.
mentally,
I was there.
guys are always ready to go for the
yeah.
most part.
Man, fuck. Yeah, but that's so conflicting because you hear women think about it as much or more than men.
Yeah, but you need to quit reading Cosmopolitan.
What do you keep looking at over there?
No, I just keep looking down. I don't know.
Cheers,
Just habit.
bitch.
Sorry.
But
Yeah. They make pills for women, but those are more or less hormones.
Right.
But for, we'll just say, older women that have a moist
Like
issue.
menopause. Talking about along those lines.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with menopause.
Yeah.
My wife will be there in a couple weeks. Just kidding, baby.
He's like, you better not be a limp dick. Oh man. And then what happened after we talked about it to Joe Rogan?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, nothing.
No, it was something. I know what it is. It's skipping
You.
my mind right now.
You.
What?
Mental block.
Oh yeah. That shit fucked me up.
But that gave you a slight
shit
sense of
fucked
how
me
I
up.
feel. And we tried like fucking 8 or 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
And every time it was a
Yeah, I
performance
completely
issue.
forgot about that. Thanks for bringing it back up. Now
And-
I'm gonna be like, impotent for the next fucking 6 weeks.
No, but just that little bit gave you kind of an insight. But think about that completely 8
Yeah.
to 10 fucking times every time you try. And then not just that, you're reading shit, you're trying things, you're like, I'm putting a cucumber up my ass before I go in the bedroom.
I was gonna ask you, have you tried her pegging you to see if that helps?
No, we usually do that first, so
Oh,
that's just
is
normal
that
routine.
foreplay?
Yes.
Except kissing. Babe, break out the peg. Not the little one.
Yeah, this one.
Yes.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
the inframet flaps.
Godzilla.
So seriously though, on a mental aspect, man, you start doubting everything. I mean, that's that deep dark hole again, man. But I'm at an age and with enough life experiences, I know I don't need to bottle shit up, and especially having someone there experiencing it with me, so to speak. I don't think it hit me so hard to where I would have been like I was, back in 13 years ago.
Right.
So I said, I think I need to do this. And she said, if that's what you want, yeah, absolutely. Because I don't want this for the rest of our fucking lives.
Right.
I gotta do something to keep my wife.
You think that's why she's hanging around?
Not at all, man. Not at all.
It's
It's
like
'cause
2%.
Yeah, it's how much money I make at Walmart.
Yep.
That's why she hangs around.
By the way, I might have to put an application at Walmart pretty soon.
Yeah, man.
So can I be like, I don't know. Can I be like I'm trying to think of the best job at Walmart. Maybe bakery. Do donuts all day.
Your mouth would be like a donut all day.
Go in the meat section with Sean.
I'm just trying to see where we're at.
We're probably, what, 2 hours in?
No, man, not at all.
Where we at?
Hour and 15.
Oh, okay. It's not bad for as much ground as we covered, I think.
No. So yeah, that's another hard pill to swallow. No, not really. Viagra pills are really fucking
tiny.
small.
Tic Tacs.
Now I'm gonna have both of my older sons like hit me up like a fucking meth head. Hey Dad, man, I heard you got that stuff.
Yeah.
Can you hook me up? I know insurance is paying for most of it. Go and give your boy a pill. Let me get a taste, and then I'll pay for the rest.
So you remember back when GM was on the brink of collapse after the housing market?
Yep.
And automobile market started going downhill.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had their hands out, waiting for a government check like they are today almost.
Yeah.
They did a internal audit during this time and over insurance for GM employees. Number one thing, Viagra.
Really?
Yep.
But
That was the number one thing to be prescribed to all, I say all
but
male.
majority
of them.
Yeah.
I found that so interesting. I was like, wow, everybody's on Viagra up in Michigan.
Well, that's your 1 in 10%. So we did a whole blood workup too, right? And I got the feedback on that. And today was my follow-up since the initial doctor appointment and where he prescribed me. And then the blood work. And I got a phone call saying, hey, your labs came back, everything's good. Just a general umbrella. And I'm like, okay. But when I got in there today, I asked them, I was like, what were my T levels, right? Testosterone. Because I'm thinking the job I'm in, they say it conflicts with T levels. And so he was like, you were right at 700. I was like 696. So I was right at 700, and someone my age, male, at 41 years old, early 40s, should be somewhere between the 250 and 900. So I'm on the upper end of, where I should be.
That's a large scale.
It is. But
wow, you'd think it'd be summed up to about 100 points of some sort.
No.
Which I don't know how the measurement's taken, but
I don't know how the measurement's taken, but obviously day-to-day food, exercise, all that directly affects your T levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mental health affects T levels. But yeah, so I'm at like 700, so I'm close to the top. So
you're at Hercules.
No, not at all, but I definitely didn't think I was kind of low at all, for the fact of, like, you cut me off in traffic, I'm ready to kill you. No. But I still, I'm a dude, and I feel the, not road rage, but you know what I'm saying, like.
So Viagra or Cialis is actually upping your T?
No.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, not at all. The only thing it does is create better blood flow down.
Yeah, I thought it was a vascular thing too.
Yes, it is. That's all it is.
That's what I thought, because you're going around T levels, and I was like,
well, but low T levels could directly result to performance issues, right? ED. And so that was why he said, I want to get a full blood workup, check your cholesterol, T level, like all this stuff. He said everything was good, and I just asked him, what about T levels? Because that's usually a direct effect of ED. And no, mine's good. So that's not an issue. So I'm like, all right, I didn't think it was, but, never know. So I figured I'd ask. But now I kind of have a baseline. I know where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man. So that was hard, man. That was another hard thing. And it's like, when you're at your most vulnerable, you know what I mean? With your life partner, with your best friend, and it's like, we're supposed to be having fun. Obviously, the baby making factory shut down. So this is supposed to be, recreational.
Casual encounters.
Yeah, and, man, it was hard. It was rough for me.
Yeah, that whole 30-second split for me, I was like, I'm like, oh, this is what Sean felt like. No, come back. I'm not thinking about my brother-in-law at this point in time in my life. Come back.
And then it did. You were like, yeah, I'm thinking of Sean.
Yeah.
Rock hard.
Stallion came out of me.
But, yeah, man, so that's at the point I'm at now. I'm rocking fucking little blue pills the nights I want to get lucky, so it's not really spontaneous anymore.
So what if you take like 3 of them?
I don't know.
Would it like explode?
I have no idea.
It would like little Stewie's arm from Family Guy. When he's been masturbating in his bedroom, he figured out porn, and he's all vascular on one side.
I can't imitate.
Send me a
Stu.
picture.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I got you tonight, bro. I'm gonna go in there and pop a pill and take a shot.
Nice.
Why don't we test that? Why don't I give you 3 and you try them out?
Can I rocket them?
You what? Can you rocket them? The fuck is that?
I don't know. That's my old glory days of. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
That was your old
Some of
glory hole
the
days.
Yeah, some of the people are gonna pick up on that.
Were you-
But no, rocketing things like I messed around with drugs
Yeah.
in high school and after high school, and I never did it, but it's a term that had been used around me. Is ecstasy may have been a drug I used at one point in time in my life,
May have been.
and
Maybe.
they would talk about rocketing them because the absorption rate through your anal cavity apparently is
Oh,
twice
God.
as fast.
Yeah, it is. Not speaking from experience.
You answered that quite quick.
I did.
Yes, it was. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard
It
it
is.
too.
Yes,
I read
I've
it on
heard.
Google, on Reddit. But no, that's why I asked if you rocket them if it works better.
Wow, no, I haven't tried that. Maybe I should. Then I wouldn't have to wait the whole 40 minutes.
What if you
to
crush
an
them up
hour.
and snort them?
I don't know. I don't think that would work. I don't think it'd get my bloodstream as quick.
I think it does faster.
Nasal?
Mm-hmm. Porous.
I don't know.
Or you crush it up, stick it in your gum like you're dipping.
That probably tastes like
It
shit.
tastes like dog shit.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But yeah, so that's where I'm at, and
Same here.
I've kind of came to terms with it. It is what it is. There's nothing I've done like poor life choices, poor fucking eating habits, because all that was going on when I was losing weight. I was working, you know.
It's funny how it'll stunt you in a different order you would think.
And that,
right?
and that might
It's
have,
opposite.
man, that was right there in the timeline of
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing great, and then I just kind of became stagnant. So that might have been a huge contributor of why I stopped working on all these fucking projects. I'm just in my own head like, damn, limp dick motherfucker.
Broke dick, some
Yeah.
bitch.
So yeah, this might have been an eye opener for me. Holy shit, thanks, James.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
But see, I mean, I would have never put 2 and 2 together, and we're sitting here talking.
Right.
So essentially,
Us discussing it is bringing up.
yeah, I mean, it might have been an epiphany to, you know, what led to my being a lazy fuck around my house now. Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. I just pop a pill, and 40 minutes to an hour later,
I need to go talk to this doctor then.
I'm.
I need a pill to give me my extra 20% energy I've been missing.
Man,
And
yeah,
then
if,
some.
if only it was that easy.
Because energy drinks don't work on me anymore. Nothing. Like, I am caffeine. I won't say addicted. I'm addicted to fast-paced environments on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I like the upside of being very busy and very efficient at what I do. And caffeine is the only way I know to get there without taking, obviously, illegal drugs, and I don't
Right.
care for that. But more or less, I'm a go-getter.
Right.
And my work hours consisted of 12 to 16-hour days, like a lot of us have been working through in our entire lives.
Yeah.
And so caffeine is my choice of drug to keep me going, to keep my performance up.
Mine's nicotine. And caffeine has always been here and there, but I think in the last 4 months, I think I've drank like 3 energy drinks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And I used to drink 2 plus a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then way before that, I used to drink a 12-pack of Mountain Dew a day. Like it was nothing.
Yep.
So I started the energy drinks when I was doing my business. So that was like 2006, 7.
I started way before that.
And I drank, well, I'm just saying drinking 2 of those a day for sure. Started then. And then, some days I was running from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday straight, no sleep, just at the shop. Charlene would pull up with the fucking kids in the damn Suburban, with McDonald's for lunch or dinner or whatever. Hey guys, I love you. Dad's working. All right, gotta go. Thanks. And I'm just down in fucking energy drinks to stay going. That was shitty. But all that sacrifice, I think that was what hit me so hard. All that sacrifice, and it was for nothing.
It's amounting to nothing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think that as of yet. But like I mentioned, I wasn't joking about possibly I might start having to look for a job possibly soon.
Yeah.
The company work has slowed down quite a bit. I don't have any rhyme or reason why it is. It may have to do with my performance as being a business owner-operator, that I am slacking. I slacked for a solid 3 months of not communicating with customers like I should.
Yeah.
And right now it's a reflection of it, which the holidays are coming up. People are getting tighter with money, including myself, and I'm sure you too.
Yeah.
There's money to be spent, so people are, not spending it on things that aren't necessary. So unfortunately, I hope it doesn't come to that where the business has to take a small brief break until it picks back up again. But that's something that's another thing that's been weighing on my conscience for the last 2 months or so.
I think the biggest thing is just being out of with all this being on you, you feel like you're at a crossroad and you're not seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's something I've kind of told, other people I know that struggles with a lot of different things with depression. Excuse me, damn, I was loud. If I can give you any advice in the world, it would be this. I forget who the fuck I heard this from, but it was great. It was like, picture, I think it was Sean Whalen. Picture trying to eat an elephant. How in the fuck do you eat an elephant? If you had to eat an elephant, how would you eat an elephant?
Chop it off one toe at a time.
One piece at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's the only way to overcome anything. One piece at a time. So one step at a time. You can't obviously eat a whole elephant at once, right? You would fucking die just from shoving all that shit into your body. But if you could one bite at a time and continuously, one piece at a time, it's going to slowly disappear, and then no longer there's an elephant in the room, right? It's gone. You've eaten it. And he did it with a piece of paper and shit, and it's real cool, and I'm not prepared to do that, but either or, however it goes, you get the concept. Whenever you are at that point, you have to fucking just face it. Okay, I need to do this. Every day, get up. That's the first thing you gotta fucking do. And if it's post something on social media, or it's contact a customer, or you have to make yourself do it. And then it'll become repetitious, and then you don't have to no longer think of that. Hey, I got to do this. This is my way to eat this elephant. It'll be the next thing, because now this is just subconsciously. That's one thing I can say generally helps me, but I have to do it. I have to be repetitious, and my schedule's so fucked up, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I bounce around with it until I get in a good routine, and then I'm good again. And now that I told the world about my ED and I'm not working on projects at the house, I'm definitely going to get on my fucking projects again. But I have to laugh about it, man, and that's another big thing. You have to find comedy in everything. You have to find light in everything, because if not, it'll tear you up. It'll eat you
alive.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, obviously it hasn't eaten me alive yet, but it's been pecking at me like a fucking woodpecker, slowly but surely, and it's putting little holes in me, I feel like.
Yeah, I got a little hole in me. You want to peck on it?
Mm-hmm. It ain't little, don't lie to them.
It's girthy, I admitted to that.
But no, we covered a lot of serious things today. I'm hoping, I wanted to discuss my issues simply because I do believe what Sean said is openly discussing it, one, with a friend, two, with the viewers. I think if it doesn't help someone make a decision on possibly discussing these topics with someone close to them, or even a random stranger,
send me a fucking message.
Yeah, feel free. I think the email's listed on all the podcasts.
It is, but if not, it's sarcastically serious02@gmail.com.
Yep, we're here for you. Be across the world, across the country, another galaxy, fucking.
We only got we only got 16 views, dude. So
okay.
there's not that many.
So the people on Mars that are listening right now.
Yeah, no shit. No, but I mean, seriously, if you struggle with anything we've talked about or anything relative, and you want to fucking reach out to us, yeah, look at them. So they no, I'm just kidding. I was gonna be a
I
smart
don't want
ass.
to make eye contact with
Yeah.
you anymore.
But
A little strange.
but no shit. I mean, if you need to reach out to anybody, you want to reach out to me, and you want to hear some jackass like talk about his limp dick, I don't care.
I do that on a regular basis, make myself feel better.
Yeah, he does. I go home and cry in my closet every night. No, but I mean, the thing is the stigma of I have to be the rock and the provider and the alpha and all. It's still there.
But don't be a pussy.
But the world, everyone knows I have feelings too. So no one's expecting me to hold everything in. You know what I mean? You've got to release. If not, you're going to break. And when you break, what do you see?
It could be serious.
Like a fucking another mass shooting in Virginia.
All right.
That shit's getting crazy, man.
But reach out. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
Is reach out. My first step was talking to my wife.
Yeah.
And to this day, we've discussed it briefly. And it was one of the hardest things I had to do. And it sounds silly that you should be able to openly talk with your wife, but it was the courage to do it. And that's all I want to reflect back on is I was putting my courage first before what my mental state was.
Yeah.
And it was selfish of me to do
It's
that
also a
because
pride thing.
it is a pride thing. And it was showing her, she noticed I was having issues, but she didn't bring them up. I'm a hard-headed son of a bitch. I'm
Yeah.
stubborn as hell.
Yeah.
And she knew something was going on, but she's not gonna bring it up to me.
Yeah.
Because she knows there's a possibility that might blow up on her if it's
Yeah.
nothing. It could be nothing. It could just be a bad day.
Yeah.
But we did discuss it, and I felt, and when I say I talked to her about it, I wasn't crying because I was telling her my feelings. I was crying to her because I finally had the courage to tell her.
Yeah.
And that's what made me feel 300 times better by simply expressing myself to her because I was holding back so hard.
Man, as soon as you release it, so if you hold on to it for too long, it's going to be hard to release it. So the sooner, the better. And as soon as you release it, it's like the fucking world is lifted off your shoulders. Obviously, it's not gone. It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Right, but that's one bite.
But someone else is aware of my situation.
But that's one bite you've taken, right? So that's one step in the right direction. And so you know, the first time I talked about the ED thing was with you guys sitting at dinner table at Joe Rogan. I just assumed like my wife had told your wife and that was already known.
No.
And when I said something about it, y'all were both like, what? And my wife's like, I'm not gonna fucking tell them. I'm like, well, I'm you know, we talk about so much already.
Yeah, we do, but it's a more intimate tale.
Yeah, well, that and it's very a low blow, and that just goes to show how much my wife knew that was bothering me, that she wouldn't share that. You know what I mean? So that's pretty fucking dope. And we talked about it later, and I was just like, I appreciate you. I mean, I just assumed, but knowing that you didn't, I appreciate you that much more. I mean, because that was pretty fucking
cool.
Dope. Man.
It's got deep.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear any boots.
No, me neither. So what do you think, man? We gonna call this?
We didn't call it, son. I'm glad we were able to get here to discuss it.
We
I'm glad.
only held hands once. Hold my hand. Hold my hand. Oh gosh. So all bullshit aside, if James is jerking my hand off, but all bullshit aside, mental health, men, woman, child,
Talk about it.
yeah, for sure. Find somebody. There's somebody you can talk to. I mean, you have to. You have to talk to somebody.
If you don't talk to somebody, my next best suggestion, this is something I considered before I broke down and told my wife, is write it on paper and read it back to yourself.
Yeah, that could be a very therapeutic.
Because that's something I considered because I was like, how am I going to explain this to her and what I'm feeling? Because it's nothing I've ever felt before, and I didn't have any word. I had words put to it, but they didn't seem like
Right.
true words to apply to
Yeah.
the way I was feeling.
But if you were writing it to yourself, you would write it just how you felt it,
Right.
instead of trying to convey that to someone else. Yeah, that's pretty dope too.
Mhm.
I like that. So yeah, so any advice from these two jerk offs right here, definitely you have to open up. I mean, without a doubt. If not, it's gonna continue to consume you, and it's
It'll
only gonna go worse.
Consume you to where you're nothing.
Yeah, no shit.
Don't get that way. Anybody.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
So
Life is too enjoyable.
it's too short, man. Time is invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most precious commodity we have.
Mm-hmm. It's the only commodity in my eyes is my time.
Yeah, shit.
All right, well, cool beans, dude.
All right, let's go upstairs. I want you to suck me off.
Fuck yeah! Can I take the blue pill first, though? I
Oh,
want to rock it.
God. All right, so I'm gonna go shove a crushed up blue pill up in his ass.
I'm gonna do a line of Viagra off his butt crack.
That was disgusting.
But anyways, it was a good talk.
Yeah.
I hope we reached out to a few people. It did help me. I feel better about discussing it.
And I'm sure motherfuckers at my work are like, oh, lip dick motherfucker. But it is what it is. I'm
But
gonna
Herbert the pervert at Walmart shouldn't
Yeah.
be saying anything
Yeah,
because you know he takes them.
yeah, no shit. All right, well, I guess on to the next one.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
Deuces.
Later, bro.
Bye, everybody.